The United States and China are battling right now over the future of TikTok in the US, and it's looking like a very real possibility that the app could be outright banned in the US. TikTok is one of the most popular apps in the United States right now, but that didn't stop the US House of Representatives from voting overwhelmingly in favor of legislation that would force the app to either be sold to a non-Chinese company or be banned in the US. And the Chinese Communist Party has now signaled that they have no intention of letting the app be sold. This standoff between the two countries is putting the future of TikTok in the United States in major doubt. The legislation proposing a forced sale or ban of TikTok won in a landslide and bipartisan 352 to 65 vote in the House, and is now making its way to the US Senate. While the fate of the bill in the Senate is not yet clear and will be more difficult, Joe Biden has already signaled that he will sign the bill into law if it makes it past the Senate. And many senior Biden administration officials have actually been involved with crafting the legislation from the beginning. If the bill were to pass and be signed into law, it would require TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell the app within just 6 months. If no sale of the app happens by that point, TikTok would then be banned from app stores and web hosting services within the United States. But while buyers have been lining up to bid on the app with offers expected to exceed $100 billion, the Chinese Communist Party has indicated that they will likely plan to block any sale of the app. In recent comments, a spokesman for China's Ministry of Commerce said the US should stop unreasonably suppressing TikTok. And in reference to ByteDance, it was said that the relevant party should strictly abide by Chinese laws and regulations. ByteDance executives reportedly saw this comment as a reminder from the CCP that a sale of TikTok would likely be blocked via government regulations that require the export of technology to be approved by the Chinese government. Back when discussions of a TikTok ban first began to heat up in 2020, the Chinese government quickly added content recommendation algorithms to an export control list, which required government approval. This political move ensured that any sale of TikTok could be blocked by the Chinese Communist Party. Many analysts believe that the CCP will prioritize China's image and political stature over ByteDance's finances, and will likely block any attempted sale of TikTok by ByteDance. This position would essentially mean that the US government would have to ban TikTok if a sale was out of the question. This stance would also put additional political pressure on US politicians who could face intense backlash for the ban of the popular app. The idea of a TikTok ban in the United States isn't anything new. The US government has been threatening to ban TikTok since 2020, and this threat has spanned across multiple presidential administrations at this point. But what is different this time is that this is the first time a bill to ban TikTok has actually made it through either chamber of Congress. And not only did it make it through the House, but it wasn't even close. It was a landslide vote in favor of a forced sale or ban of TikTok. TikTok has long faced intense scrutiny from the US government because of its Chinese ownership and connections to the Chinese Communist Party. There have been growing concerns that the app is a national security risk. Congress has been briefed by intelligence officials on the specific security threats TikTok presents, and this information comes in part from both current and former employees at TikTok. In addition, the US government has already forced federal employees to delete the app from government-issued devices. TikTok's business executives were blindsided by this new legislation, as lawmakers had been secretly working on this bill. Reportedly just 2 weeks prior, the company's executives had believed that there was no immediate danger of the app being banned. Since then, the company has been quickly trying to catch up and defend itself by mobilizing its user base and urging them to call their representatives and senators. However, this tactic might have actually backfired, as it reinforced concerns with some over the influence TikTok has on the American populace, and how it could be used to promote the Chinese Communist Party's agenda. Among the intelligence community, there exists a serious concern that a Chinese Communist Party influence operation taking place on TikTok would be virtually undetectable, due to the nature of the platform and its content recommendation algorithm. TikTok has spent years trying to fend off attempts to ban the app from the United States and has invested massive amounts of money into lobbying and government relations efforts in order to keep access to its largest market. In addition, TikTok has tried to mitigate concerns about the Chinese Communist Party's access to American user data through a plan that they called Project Texas. Project Texas was an initiative designed to separate and house the user information for US TikTok users in data centers in Texas, with oversight from the major United States company Oracle. The idea was that housing the data in the US with oversight from a US company would hopefully ease the security concerns. However, this effort has not been enough to satisfy the US government's concerns, and whistleblowers that have previously worked for TikTok claim that Project Texas would not do enough to secure US data away from China. If the legislation ultimately passes and is signed into law, TikTok's best hope for a legal challenge at that point would be to attempt to challenge the constitutionality of the ban in US court on free speech grounds. But winning that case would likely be an uphill battle as well, since it would require the US judicial branch to overturn legislation that has already passed with broad bipartisan support in Congress. There are some that believe that a US ban of TikTok would be easy enough to bypass by simply using a VPN. But a ban would almost certainly prevent most people from accessing TikTok even with a VPN. The government would mandate platforms like Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores. This would prevent new people from joining TikTok. And to prevent existing users from accessing the app, the US government would force internet and wireless service providers to block TikTok. And the government would likely require VPN providers to blacklist the app too. While it's possible that especially tech-savvy people might be able to access TikTok in the US, the general population almost certainly will not be able to access the app if a ban is enacted. And if TikTok does get banned, it's likely that other large social media companies will stand to benefit the most. Believe it or not, if the United States ends up banning TikTok, they will not be the first country to have done so. India originally banned TikTok in 2020, which drastically changed the app landscape immediately after this happened. The main winner from India's TikTok ban was Meta's Instagram. After the ban in June of 2020, Instagram's downloads in India skyrocketed, and it became the country's most popular social media app by the end of 2021. Both Meta and YouTube used the ban in India at the time as an opportunity to test Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts before rolling out the functionality to other countries. So if a TikTok ban does end up happening in the United States, it's likely that history will repeat itself and some of the main winners will be Instagram and YouTube. But be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below about a TikTok ban and whether you think it will happen. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more finance and business content. Thanks.